Our mate Danny's singing her heart out just for you. Then Queen Bee of the Square, Martin McCutcheon, is in, and she'll be on the dog and bone all morning. And comedian, actress and award-winning playwright Kathy Burke trends the live and kicking boards. It's all live tomorrow morning at 9, so be there, please.
What a show!
Thanks very much to Five for coming in. Good luck with your single. And you could alter history. Well, at least you could take part in Hits and Knockout by voting for All Saints or Boyzone. Vote All Saints. No, just no win this trophy. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye!
Ooh, just made it. Now, after weeks of intense competition, you've whittled it down to your 2 faves. And what a surprise. First up, All Saints. And if you think girlies are great, then vote to see Never Ever on 0891 800 311. Or if you're more a fan of the boys and want to see this old smoochy number from Boyzone, then call 0891 800 322. Calls cost 10p, lines close at 6, and please get permission from whoever pays the bill. It's the final, and we'll see you tomorrow with the results. The weekend's just begun.
Fantastic, yes, don't miss Ellen Kay in the morning. Now, next week on the BBC, it's Water Week. They've got lots of programmes about how water affects our lives. In fact, one of them is being presented by Sally Gray, who does It'll Never Work and 50/50. And it's very exciting because you can actually get involved.
That's right. It's a nationwide survey, and we need your help to find out how much water you use in your house. Maybe you don't use enough. Maybe you use too much. Who knows? But you can send off for a special little slide draw water meter.
That's right, it's a water slide rule, and it tells you every time you flush the chain how much water you've used, and when you brush your teeth, and you mark it off, as you can see there on the ruler, and find out how much water your family has used in a week and contribute to the national survey. If you fancy sending for one and doing all that business, we've been having a go, haven't we?
We have indeed. Yes, and we're not wasting water here, viewers, by the way. We're going to get a bucket and we're going to pour it on the flowers after.
That's right. So if you fancy sending for one, all you've got to do is send an A4 stamped addressed envelope to this address. It's the Tap Test, BBC Water Week, PO Box 1001, Manchester M60 3JB. And there's an internet site as well that you can see there. It's www.bbc.co.uk/Water Week.
Water Week indeed. Now, Kirsten, I'm afraid I've just got to do something. There we go.
I'm sorry, it's a very bad example. You've just wasted water in front of all of our viewers. I'm sorry.
What?
You don't have to be top of the class to know who this is. But can you remember how it all began?
I don't get it. I really do not get it.
Perhaps you need reminding.
The prefects are the voice of the headmaster.
I will not endure disorder.
He's powerless.
Perhaps you'd better watch out.
Look at me.
For the Demon Headmaster, Wednesday, 1st of April on Children's BBC1.
Blue Peach, in around 10 minutes' time, they've got some strange animals and aliens too. Very scary.
Cool. Right now, here's today's news round presented by Chris and Lizo.
The 12-year-old from Northern Ireland going for an Oscar.
And the brass band putting the wind up the Spice Girls.
Hello, the Hollywood Oscars ceremony, the most exciting date in the film calendar, is now just a few days away.
One of the film stars waiting to see if they've won an award is 12-year-old Kimberly McConkie from Northern Ireland. She stars in a movie that's been nominated for Best Short Film.
Hollywood girl goes to Oscar ceremony. Nothing too surprising about that, except that this girl's actually from Hollywood, County Down in Northern Ireland, and she isn't your typical movie star. Even so, next week she really will be in Hollywood, California, rubbing shoulders with the stars at the glittering Oscar ceremony.
It's going to be brilliant, yeah. Meeting everyone, and I'd love to meet Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes. They're probably my two favourite actors and actresses.
Are you very excited about it?
I'm trying not to think about it, because the more excited I get, the longer it'll take for the date to come around. 1, 2, 3, go!
The film which has pushed Kimberly into the spotlight is called Dance Lexi Dance, the story of a young girl who wants to learn traditional Irish dancing.
You know the Irish dancing in the telly?
Ways up, Laura.
Well, why?
Dance Lexi Dance won't be in direct competition with blockbusters like Titanic. It's been nominated in the category for Best Short Film.
Because we don't dance.
But if it does win, it'll be the first time Northern Ireland's ever won that Oscar. Today, Kimberly's attending lessons at Sullivan Upper School. She may be a budding star, but in the classroom she's treated like all the other children, and she's determined to keep her feet firmly on the ground.
It wasn't like it was me that got the nomination, it was the entire film, and everybody involved was really delighted about it. And no, it hasn't changed me. I won't let fame go to my head.
As for the future, she says she has no intention of becoming an actress. She loves animals, has a pet rat, and says she'd much rather be a vet. But if the film does win on Monday, perhaps she'll change her mind.
Also looking forward to the Oscars is Leonardo DiCaprio. Welcome to London last night for the premiere of his new film. This week he was voted the world's most fanciful man by 10,000 readers of Bliss magazine.
Some good news at last for British football in Europe. Chelsea are through to the semi-finals of the Cup Winners' Cup after beating Spain's Real Betis 3-1.
But there's no bright lights for the people of Auckland, still without electricity after a power cut a month ago. It could be several more months until the power comes back on in the New Zealand capital.
Now to Germany, where thousands of protesters have been trying to stop a train carrying nuclear waste. Police have been protecting the convoy, which set off from Valheim during the night. It's expected to arrive shortly at a storage depot in Aarhus.
The crowds have grown in their thousands along the route of the train. Police have constantly been trying to move protesters away from the rail line, but many had even chained or cemented themselves to the track, causing the train to be diverted. The disruption meant the 6 carriages carrying radioactive waste made only slow progress to the storage depots, where it will remain for several years. The train's cargo is from one of Germany's many nuclear power stations. The country relies on nuclear power for around a third of its electricity. But recent surveys have shown a large number of Germans are against the use of nuclear power. The protesters say the containers for the radioactive waste aren't safe enough. By this afternoon, around 5,000 protesters could do little more than stage a sit-in at the storage depot.
The price, the political and the financial price for this nuclear waste industry has gone up incredibly, and we see this already as a success of the anti-nuclear waste movement.
Even though this train made it through, it seems the battle isn't over. Protesters say as long as Germany continues to use nuclear power, they'll continue to hold demonstrations against it. A space rocket launched in Devon this morning crashed in spectacular style just after takeoff. It was hoped the rocket would reach 5,000 metres over Dartmoor, but ended up nosediving, as Joanna Robinson reports.
Star Chaser 3 was said to be the world's most sophisticated amateur rocket. It had cost £70,000 and the builders had worked on it for 2 years. Nerves were running high when the time finally came for the launch.
3, 2, 1,
ignition.
Here we go. We have liftoff.
But within seconds there was disaster. As the rocket plunged to Earth, a huge fire started on Dartmoor. Extra help had to be brought in to fight the flames. The team were disappointed.
It's too early to tell what's happened on Steve's rocket, but we believe primarily there's been a malfunction in the first stage. This could well be due to simply an imbalance in the actual burning of the motors.
The scientists are refusing to be put off, describing it as a minor setback.
This isn't going to stop us. It'll hold us back a few months. We'll pick up the pieces and carry on.
So will there be a Star Chaser 4?
There'll be another Star Chaser 3. We'll get that right before we move on.
It's not the first time Steve Bennett's rocket launches have failed. Last year, another of his missiles vanished after it soared into the clouds over Northumberland. The British inventor's dream is one day to put a man into space. He hopes to launch a new version of his rocket by the end of the year.
And finally to the children blowing their trumpet about a top pop exclusive. Members of the Smith Hill School Brass Band in Bolton have been given special permission to spice up their songs. For Newsround, Dave Guest reports.
Spice Up Your Life was an instant hit for the Spice Girls. It's popular around the world. But at Smithers School in Bolton, it sounds rather different. The school band is thought to be the first brass band to be given official permission to perform the Spice Girls music.
We went to Windswept Pacific, who publish all the songs, at least 50% of them, and just said, this is what we do, we're a multiracial school, we'd like to do this, this, this and this. And they said, great, go ahead.
The Smithers Band is a world champion in its class. So how does this compare with the more traditional brass band music they normally play?
We love it, you know, it really motivates us and it gets us excited, but also the audience love it.
Something new and lively, and it seems exciting.
The Spice Girls song just gives it a new image, really.
But with the latest Spice Girls track failing to go straight to #1, is their popularity fading?
Just because they didn't get to #1, I don't think that it's going to make much of a difference because they've always been a big group and I think they'll keep on being big.
All the songs are great and they're all brilliant.
So perhaps girl power hasn't run out just yet. This is Dave Guest for Newsround in Bolton.
What the Spice Girls think of that as well. That's it for this week.
Don't forget our roundup of the week on the BBC's cable channel News 24 on Sunday afternoon.
But we're back on this station live at 5 as always on Monday.
Till then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This Saturday morning, remember to turn it on to Live and Kicking as we've got Danny performing her new single. In the hot seat, funny lady Kathy Burke is waiting to take your calls. And a chance to chinwag with EastEnders star Martine McCutcheon. It's all Live and Kicking.
Miss it, miss out.
Tomorrow at 9 on BBC1.
Live and Kicking.
And don't forget that Angie is here from 7:25 in the morning with a whole hour and a half's worth of entertainment before Live and Kicking. Back to this afternoon right now, and it's time for today's Blue Peter.
On Blue Peter today, check out the 13-year-old boy who's a whiz at transforming old cars.
I'll be turning these bits and pieces into the ultimate present for Mother's Day.
And we've a live performance in the studio from a top young dance group.
Hello.
Hi there, welcome. It's Friday, we're live from Studio 4.
We certainly are. What are those noises, Rich? What have you been eating?
And not again. Well done, thank you. Not at the start of the show,
No,
please.
I can confirm today they're not from me.
No, it's because the studio's been taken over by some extraordinary creatures who stopped off on their way to a brand new exhibition at the Natural History Museum. They're animatronic beasts, specially made in Japan. And what they've got in common is they're all creatures who may be real or may be a myth. In ancient times, tales of unusual animals were brought back from foreign lands by